The reason the risk of a portfolio is less than the average of the risk of the shares in a portfolio is something called correlation, which will be the focus of this module. Correlation measures the strength of the relationship between any two stocks. It is scaled so that it always has a value between -1 and +1. It tells us how often returns tend to move in the same direction and how often they tend to move in opposite directions. This line shows the range of possible values for the correlation, and we can use it to interpret the value of the correlation between two shares. If the correlation is +1, it means that the shares are perfectly positively correlated. Returns on shares always move in the same direction. If the correlation is between 0 and +1, then we say that shares are positively correlated. They tend to move in the same direction most of the time, but not always. If the correlation is 0, we say that the shares are uncorrelated. There is no tendency to move in the same or opposite directions. If one share moves up, the other one has a 50% chance of moving up and a 50% chance of moving down. If one of the two shares has no risk at all, does not vary, then the correlation would also be 0. If the correlation is between -1 and 0, then we say that the shares are negatively correlated. They tend to move in opposite directions, but not always. And finally, if the correlation is -1, then we say that shares are perfectly negatively correlated. The returns always move in opposite directions.